Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Happy Aura channel. I am Jenny, and I am so deeply grateful that you have chosen to spend a few moments of your day with me. Today, we are going to navigate some truly tender territory. We are going to talk about a feeling that sits heavily in the chest, a specific kind of bittersweet irony that almost everyone has tasted, but few of us know how to digest. I want to talk about that moment when you see an ex-partner, someone you loved, someone you fought with, someone you ultimately parted ways with, and you realize something shocking. You realize that they look happy. More than that, they look stable. They look emotionally mature. They seem to have become the very person you begged them to be for years, but they are doing it for someone else. It is one of the most grueling, confusing, and dryly comedic things about the landscape of modern relationships. We often find ourselves haunted by the suspicion that the many struggles we endured with our now ex-partners, though they appeared circular, exhausting, and fruitless at the time, are likely to be precisely what will help them to become the ideal partners for their next love. It is a staggering thought, isn't it? The idea that the very difficulties we navigated, the arguments that kept us up until 3 a.m, the blind spots we tried to illuminate, and the painful stalemates we hit, will actually prepare them for unions filled with insight, harmony, and serenity next time around. Unbeknownst to us, while we were crying into our pillows or venting to our best friends, we may for a long time have been in the business of helping someone else to be very happy. We were the construction workers laying the foundation for a house we would never get to live in. We were the unpaid interns in the business of their emotional growth. When we are in the thick of a relationship, there will typically be very few signs of our unwittingly selfless groundwork. When you are fighting about whose turn it is to do the dishes, or why they shut down emotionally when you ask a simple question. The closing stages of the relationship are unlikely to have seemed like an emotional finishing school. It certainly does not feel like a forum for psychological maturation. It feels like a battlefield. It feels like a failure. Think back to those moments. There might have been a succession of seemingly sterile fights when we questioned why they spent so much time obsessing about their brother, or why they kept expecting their mother to rescue them from every minor inconvenience. There might have been a variety of tense, clipped conversations about certain friends of theirs who we felt were bad influences, or arguments about their disorganized approach to work. We might have been accused, in those heated moments, of being mean, nagging, or overly critical. Perhaps there was a sulk that lasted for 12 hours, a heavy silence filling the apartment, where the air felt thick enough to cut with a knife. There may have been a moment, etched into your memory, when they called us a blockhead or a tyrant, and we, in our pain, told them we wished we had never met them, even though, or precisely, because we loved them so deeply that their refusal to grow felt like a physical wound. However, from this vantage point of calm and distance, we can be charitable towards these choppy moments. We can look back with a softer gaze. Relationships typically involve sincere, if clumsy, attempts by both partners to raise the other person's level of self-awareness and empathy. Deep down, we are all trying to heal each other. None of us are perfect, and the arena in which these imperfections are first identified and grappled with is in the terrifically close-up, high-definition conditions of love. The problem, my friends, isn't our mutual educational intent. Wanting your partner to be better and them wanting you to be better is a sign of investment. The problem is the terrible way in which this education is generally carried out. When it comes to the school of love, we are, on the whole, very poor teachers and equally bad students. Let's look at ourselves in the teaching role. We spot multiple things in our partners that need improvement. We see their potential so clearly, but we are so worried that they will not understand or that they will refuse to change that we panic. We address them in high-handed, urgent moods. We bring up their flaws when we are angry, which is the worst possible time to teach anyone anything. We forget the golden rule of pedagogy. No one has ever learned anything valuable by being humiliated or attacked. We try to get them to see a vital point about their emotional unavailability in the middle of the night, when our defenses are down and our exhaustion is high. We try to lecture them when we are both drained from a long week, or on the way to the airport, or sitting in the waiting room of a doctor's appointment. We forget to deploy humor. We forget to use reassurance. We forget to wrap the lesson in love. Instead, we think it will help things if we spice up our lessons with stinging phrases. We say things like, "And everyone else knows this about you too," turning the world against them. Or we say, "And you are acting exactly like your dad," knowing precisely where their deepest insecurities lie. We weaponize the truth, and then we wonder why they do not accept it. And when we are in the student role, oh, we are equally unimaginative, brittle, and hasty. We do not want to sit at the desk and learn. We swiftly resent the partner for spotting something complicated in our characters that we know deep down does need addressing. We feel exposed. We feel unsafe. So, we disingenuously complain to our friends that our partners don't love us as we are. We use the rhetoric of unconditional love as a shield to protect our egos. We act as though loving someone means ignoring their flaws entirely. In fear, we regressively equate true love with boundless, uncritical approval. We behave like children who want a parent to tell them they are perfect, rather than adults who want a partner to help them grow. We cannot allow for the possibility that someone should both be deeply on our side and justly want to criticize us. The two feel mutually exclusive, even though they are the twin components of real intimacy. Nevertheless, life has a way of teaching us the lessons we refused to learn in the classroom. Once the heat has gone out of the moment, once the relationship has fractured and ended, a shift occurs. Once we have taken the decision to part ways, and we have cried alone in our apartment over many weeks, staring at the ceiling and wondering where it all went wrong, the magic happens. Some of the things we most wanted to get across to our partners, and they to us, will finally have a chance to be absorbed. The resistance fades because the threat is gone. When the other person is no longer in the vicinity, when a point isn't being made with vehemence or insistence, it can become easier to think. In the quiet of our own new solitude, we might admit to ourselves that yes, perhaps there might have been something to reflect on about our relationship to a sibling. Perhaps we were a little too defensive about our job. Perhaps we were difficult to communicate with. Pride is no longer on the line. Dignity is no longer ruffled. When the classroom has been blown up and the teacher dismissed, the homework can finally begin. We sit down at the desk of our lives and we start to do the work. And our exes do the same. And so, months or years later, our once wild, stubborn, impossible partner may arrive in a new relationship with the fault lines, which we fought over with such agitation, substantially healed. This is the part that stings the most. You might see a photo of them or run into them at a coffee shop. In their attractive outfit, which perhaps we helped them pick out or inspired them to wear, gazing into the middle distance with a calmness we never saw. They seem different. They may casually remark to a mutual friend, or even to us, "I had a few problems with my brother a while back, but that is all sorted out now." And you want to scream, "I told you that. I spent 3 years telling you that." Or they may, as they pour themselves a little more white wine, explain with uncommon suggestion and maturity that making time for personal life is very important to me now, however much I do enjoy my job. The new partner, sitting across from them, will take delight in how extraordinarily grounded and poised their beloved appears to be in so many ways. They will think they won the lottery. They will think this person came ready-made, emotionally intelligent, and self-aware. They will have no idea of the late-night wars, the tears, and the frustration that went into sculpting that maturity. It could sound like the grounds for bitterness. It is easy to feel cheated. It is easy to feel like you put in the investment and someone else is collecting the dividends. You did the heavy lifting, and this new person gets to enjoy the view from the top of the mountain. But my friends, hold on. There is one redemptive detail that we must not overlook. This is the thought that can turn your bitterness into gratitude. The process is likely to be two ways. The universe seeks balance, with any luck, and if we are open to it, we too will eventually meet someone who appears entirely naturally to have a deep understanding of themselves. We will meet someone who has a mature way of relating to their flaws and a deft, skillful way of sailing over the complexities of their character. This new person will enter our lives, and they will seem almost magical. They will apologize for being late before we even think of saying anything. They will seem miraculously open to feedback over certain topics that used to trigger World War III with our ex. Their insight into the complexities of their pasts will awe us. They will say things like, "I used to struggle with communication, but I have learned how important it is to speak up." Or, "I used to be defensive, but I know now that listening is an act of love." We will think that this is the way that they were born. We will marvel at their nature. We will think we have finally found a good one, someone who just instinctively knows how to love. No one will know, and everyone, including us, will feel after so many tears with our tricky ex, hugely blessed. But the truth is, we are the beneficiaries of someone else's hard work. Somewhere out there, there is an invisible person we should thank. There is an ex-partner of our new love who endured the fights, who sat through the silence, who played the role of the bad teacher, so that this person could become a good student. We are inheriting a renovation project that someone else started, just as our ex's new partner is enjoying the fruits of our labor. We are enjoying the fruits of someone else. We are all passing the torch of emotional maturity. We are all connected in this vast, complex web of growth and learning. So, when you see your ex looking happy, looking grown up, looking like the person you always knew they could be, try not to let resentment take root in your heart. Instead, take a deep breath. Acknowledge the pain, yes, but then acknowledge the contribution you made. You helped them. You were part of their journey. You taught them how to be better, even if you had to leave for the lesson to sink in. And then look forward. Look forward to the person who is coming your way, the person who has been polished and prepared by their own history, ready to love you in the way you deserve. Relationships are a school, and sometimes we graduate so we can be better for the next class. It is a beautiful, if slightly painful, system, but it works. Thank you for listening. This is Jenny from the Happy Aura channel, wishing you peace, growth, and the courage to see the love in every lesson. Until next time, take care of your hearts.